Hello, and first of all, I would like to welcome you all and thank you for taking out your time for this meetup. So please let me know in the chat window if I'm audible. Cool. Okay. So let's get started. We have 30 minutes right now. So let's quickly get started and try to cover the agenda that we have for today. So my name is Rahul Singh, and currently I am working as a senior consultant with Deloitte. I'm a W public featured author, and I'm having more than 7 years of experience across multiple tools. I'm also a blogger and a guest faculty for W at some of the educational institutes. And this, what you see over here, is my blog website. So this blog website that you see over here, it has a collection of more than 100 blogs related to W statistics and R. So there are a couple of things that are in the pipeline. For example, we are in the process of adding Power BI as well into this particular blog that we have. This blog is divided into the Tableau tutorial set that you have is divided into different blogs such as Tableau Basics, where you will be finding the basic definitions and basic concepts about Tableau. Then you have the Tableau charts. You have content for Tableau calculations, and recently we have launched section for video tutorials. So all the video tutorials that we post, you can access it through this particular tab. And like I said, we are in the pipeline of adding a couple of more tools to this website as well. So having said that, let's again once again I welcome all of you to this connect. This is the first episode of the Using Data Connect, and in this we'll be discussing about parameter actions. So here's the agenda for today. So we will start by understanding what are parameters, and then we will see why should we use parameters, and how what are parameter actions and how to use them. We will also cover a couple of use cases of parameter actions, and then finally the last section would be the Q&A section. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so everyone who has been working with Tableau now understands what a parameter is. So I will quickly demonstrate what a parameter is and how do we use a parameter. A parameter can be understood as a variable which is used to pass values to a calculated field. So for example, let's say I have a trend of sales. So okay. Here's my order ID, and sorry, not the order ID. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to create a trend of sales. So for that, I'll bring in order date to my columns, and then I'll select continuous month for this. And then I'll bring sales to my rows. I'll change the mark type to bar to understand what we are trying to do. So now what we have is that we have this sales represented across month for different months. So for example, in the month of March 2017, my sales was 51,000. So similarly, it gives us the sales for each and every month. Now let's say we want to we want to show that I want to know all my months which are greater than, let's say, 50K. So generally what we do for that is create a calculated field. So this is how we create a calculated field. I click on this, and let's say I name it as sales more than 50K, and I would say sum of sales is greater than 50,000. So this is my calculated field. I hit on OK, and then this is my calculation over here. So to see all the months that are having sales more than 50K, I'll bring it down to the color tab. So once I bring it onto the color tab, you see that all the months that have sales more than 50K are colored in orange, and all the months that have sales less than 50K are colored in blue. So now, now let's understand this. We have used a calculated field for finding the months that are, greater or above than a particular sales value. Now, this thing that we did is a static thing. It's not a dynamic. So for example, if someone is viewing this dashboard and doesn't have any editing rights to the dashboard, he won't be able to, change the value of 50K. The only way of changing the value of 50K is to edit this calculated field. So if I need to select some another value, I need to input it in this calculated field, and this can be done only from the person who has, developed the dashboard or has a developer right. So it cannot be done from the user interacting with the dashboard. So to overcome this condition, parameter comes into action. So this is the place where we use parameter so that the user has the control to change the values. So how do we do that? So to do that, first of all, we need to create a parameter. So I go to click on create parameter, and then over here, let me say enter sales value. So this would be a float parameter, and I would keep all the allowable values. So the user can enter anything over here, and then I click on OK. And when I right click on it and do a show parameter control, you can see that a window pops out and it allows you to, add into the values that we have. So for example, if you want to add any value over here, you can add it over here. Let's say I want to add 60K. So the parameter accepts the value as 60K. Okay. Now over here, but even if we are entering the values over here, we cannot see that in any changes over here. Like I said, parameter can be understood as a variable which is which is used to pass values. Now to pass the values, to see the values over here, we need to use this particular parameter into a calculated field. So let's create a calculated field again, and I will name it as sales more than entered value. And now I'll be saying, sorry, sum of sales is greater than enter sales value, and then I'll hit on OK. Now let me remove this the previous calculated field from the color, and then now I'll be adding this particular field into the color that we created right now. So now if you see, if you enter now the parameter is able to pass the value into a new calculated field, and whatever value that you will be entering over here gets passed on to this particular sheet. For example, if I enter 75K, hit enter. Now you see the color of the bar changes. So only the months that are having more values more than 75K are colored in orange, and others are in blue. So any value that you enter over here is passed on to the calculated field that you created, and so it verifies the logic of your calculation, and that particularly sends you the colors the bar which are there. So now the third thing that comes over into place is the parameter actions. So with parameters, user can enter the values over here, but still the user has to enter value. So what if the user simply hovers over a bar, and then the bar gets differentiated as true and false? So that is the place where parameter actions come into place, and using parameter actions eliminates the need for entering the value into the parameter. So you just by hovering onto a particular bar, it acquires that particular value and then passes it on to the calculated field. So let's see how to do that. So to create a parameter action, what we need to do is that you need to go to the dash worksheet. Right now we are in a worksheet, so we'll go to the worksheet and click on create actions, and then in actions, in the action I'll go to add action, and then in the drop down you will be seeing change parameter. So this is the action that is used for parameter action. So I'll click on this. Okay. Now, once you click on the parameter actions, a window pops out, and you need to input the details over here. So let me rename the parameter as change sales value, and then I'll be selecting my data source, and in the data source, this particular sheet 1 that we are into. So this is the sheet that we want. Now, there is a window for target parameter. So all the parameters that you have created in your dashboard would come into this particular place, and then you can enter those. You can select it from there. So right now we have only selected enter sales value. So what you need to do is click on this, and you need to say this is my target parameter, and then there's an option to select what is the value that you want to target through this parameter. Click on the drop down, and over here we need to select sum of sales, because using the parameter action I want to activate the sum of sales measure. So I click on sum of sales. This is already aggregated, so let's change the aggregation to none, and let me select the run action on hover, and let's click on OK. So once you click on OK, your parameter action parameter action is created, and then so now if you see, if I hover on any of the bar, so the bar color changes accordingly. So if I hover on this bar, all the bars, all the months that are having sales value greater than this particular value, that is 24,797, are colored orange, and all those which are having less than it are colored blue. So parameter action adds much more interactivity to the dashboard. It, like we saw just now, it eliminates the need to enter the value. So right, if you see the box over here, enter sales value, the numbers over here change automatically as you keep on hovering over the bars. So this is how a parameter action is used, and using this we can, like I said, you can create a lot of interactivity to your dashboard. Like I said before, it completely eliminates the use of entering the values into that particular value box that we have now. So this is a very basic concept of parameter action. So there are many use cases for this. So what we will do, we have still have a lot of time right now. So we will be actually seeing a use case of using how to use this parameter actions. So what I'll be doing, so let's consider an example that you have a, like over here only you have a trend of sales. So let me go to a new sheet. I'll once again bring in order date, and then from there I'll be selecting continuous month, then my sales. Okay, so now let's say we have a requirement in such a way that the user any point the user selects, the user wants to know what is the sales for that particular month and what was the sales 1 year before. So for example, if I'm selecting on December 2017, I would like to also know what was my sales on December 2016, and what is the difference between these two, whether there was an increase in sales or there was a decrease in sales. So let's assume this is our use case. So we already know how to do it using calculated field. So you need to create a calculated field for uh, one particular, so calculated field for the date that the user selects, and then using that you'll be using a calculated field to select a year prior to that particular date. Okay, so to do that, so quickly what we'll do, we'll again create a parameter. So I'll go to and create parameter, and in this case I'll be creating a date parameter. So I would say select month. Okay, and over here I'll have date, and in allowable values, let's keep it all right now. Okay, and then I click on OK. Now I do a right click on it and do a show parameter control. So I get a box to enter my dates, but then here's the problem. So what I am getting over here is a calendar for that particular month. So any month that I select would be giving me a complete calendar for this. But this is not we want. We want the months in the form of January, February, March, and April. So to get the months in that form, the first thing that we need to do is create a calculated field for month. So I'll go to create calculated field, and I will say month of order date. And over here I'll say date trunk month order date. I'll click on OK. So now I have a calculated field for month of order date. From date time I'll be changing it to a date field, and now so I'll delete this parameter and create a new one. So let's create a new parameter, create parameter, and then I'll say select month, and this time it will be a date parameter, and I'll say that select a range, and I'll set it from the field of month of order date. So a list basically. Okay, so clear all, and then add values from month of order date. So now you see, or you have got it in the format of month, just month. I'll click on OK, and then I'll show parameter control. Now you will be seeing that instead of that entire calendar, you are getting it in the form of month. So this again, the display can be changed. Instead of seeing like 01 January 15, you can change the display to January 15 and all like that. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do is create a calculated field that would show me the value for that selected month. So to do that, what I'll do, I'll go to again create a calculated field, sales selected month, and over here I would say if date trunk month of order date equal to date trunk of month, and then my parameter. So in our case it is select month. If this is equal, then sales end. Okay, so now this value gives me the sales in this particular whatever value that you are selecting. So let's click on OK. So you have the sales in selected month. I'll click on I'll bring it on text, and right now you see that my selected month is January, so it's giving me the sales for January. Similarly, what we'll do, we will create a calculated field that shows us the sales for one year before. So to do that, what I'll do, I'll duplicate this field, a calculated field, and I'll go to edit the field, rename it as sales 1 year before, and then I'll say if date rank month of order date. Now this is the place where we need to say instead of selected month, it should be 1 year before. So to do that, what I would do, I'll do a date add, and in this I'll add year, and then in interval I'll be doing a -1 so that it goes 1 year before, and then click on OK over here. So now what it will do, whatever the selected month date is there, it will subtract 1 year from there, and then it will compare it with the order date and give you the sales. Now I click on OK. So here's my another value. So let's create it on label. Bring it on label. So right now we are not able to see any value because of the fact that our selected month is January 15, and there's no another months prior to that. So I'll select, let's say, November 16. So now if I select November 16, you can see I get a sales for that particular date, and what is the sales 1 year before that. So this is how you would create a calculated field and get the sales for both of the year. Now next what we'll do, we'll be enabling parameter actions over here. So instead of the user clicking every time in this drop down, we would be enabling parameter actions. So to do that, again we'll go to the worksheet, click on actions, and then I'll create another action, change parameter, show values on trend line. And then I'll again keep it on hover, select my data source, and I'll select my sheet. And then here I'll be selecting my target parameter. In this case, my target parameter would be month, because this we want whatever we want to do, whatever we want to change, we would like it to happen on month. So we select month over here, and then the field that we are going to target now is month of order date from sales, so from orders. So if you remember in the previous scenario when we are simply discussing about the parameter actions, in this field we were selecting sum of sales. The reason for that was our parameter, it was comparing the value that we were trying to change was the value for sales, and now the value that we are trying to change is the value for month. So that's why over here, I'll be selecting month of order date and aggregation as none. I click on OK and then again click on OK. So now if you see, simply if you hover at one particular point, so for example, any point that you hover, you will get the value for that particular month and what was the sales of 1 year before. So this is how you use a parameter action to show the sales 1 year before and the current sales. You can also add a bit of creativity to this dashboard. Like for example, you could define these 2 points by two different circles with different colors. If you want to go ahead and do that, you would like to duplicate the sales value, and then in this you need to select it as a circle. And after that, so now you'll need to create a calculated field which would say, so first let me copy this. Okay, and I'll create a calculated field. So the calculated field, I'll say for color, and then I'll say if, so if month of this is equal to this, then it is previous year, else if, I'll be removing the date at function. And this is my current year. Okay. And this color, I need to bring it onto the color for the circles. Okay. And what I need to do is previous year I can keep it as red. Oh, current year I can keep it as orange, and whatever null values that we have, that we can keep them as white. Okay. So, and then once we do that, I can right click on it, select dual axis, and then synchronize your axis. And then from the circles, I need to remove these two, and there you are. So now you see you have added much more. You have changed from a simple line chart, you have changed it to a dotted line chart. And now if you select any point, the orange will show you that it's a current month and the value that you are having, and then the red will be showing you it's a value 1 year prior. So you can bring it all these elements into the dashboard, and in the dashboard you can also create a calculated field that shows you the difference between these two values, and then when you bring it all onto the dashboard, that would be at one particular place. So this is how we use parameter actions, and there are many use cases of parameter actions, like I said. So here are a couple of them. So in my blog website, I have written around 10 use cases for parameter actions. So if you scroll down over here, you'll be seeing that. Okay. Yeah. So if you scroll down over here, you can select parameter actions from this tag list, and you'll be getting a list of all those things that are possible. For example, you can use parameter action to multi-select menu, to create a multi-select menu, or a year-to-date comparison, a sales comparison. That is what we did right now. You can use them for a combined scrolling, and so much. So if you want to refer to all of them, you can follow my blog website and then have a look into them. So these were the use. This was all about parameter action, and with this, I think we come to the close. We come towards the closing of the session. So you can always find it as. So this is my blog website that you see, www.wizingdata.com, and you can get into touch with me at rahul@wizingdata.com. We are on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Telegram as well. So if you would like to connect to us using this medium, you can follow us through this medium also and get into touch with us. Finally, we are into the last section of the discussion. So that's a Q&A. And after this call, everyone would be getting a, feedback form. I would request every one of you to please take your time. It's a 10-question survey. Form wouldn't take you much more than 2 minutes. And then I would request all of you to, fill the form so that, it could help us in planning the section of planning our next session with much more efficient. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask, I would ask you to please enter them in the chat window. So no one has any questions. Okay, let me go through some previous chat. Yeah, definitely. I'll be posting this recording to my blog website, and every one of you will be getting a link for that. And also, like I said, in the feedback form, there is a section for, what are the contents that you would like to want to be added in our upcoming session. So I would request you to take your time and fill that section as well. Yeah, definitely. We can try to have that also. We can, like, how do we use Tableau in different, yeah, that's in fact a good suggestion. I can include that. How do we use Tableau in different domains? It's not Vizy data, it's Vizzing. So VIZZING, Vizzing data.com. Okay, so in case if anyone doesn't have any question, I will end this session. And please take your time to fill the feedback form that you would receive after this session. Thank you all for taking out your time on a Sunday, and thanks a lot for joining the session.